Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Showtime Satch, and today we have another episode for you, man. In this game, I'm going to show off today. I'll go against a very talented opponent. We get into a crazy position that honestly looks like it was set up by a composition. It doesn't even look like a game position, but it is very entertaining. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get right into the video. My opponent today is Kamal Tarverdiev from Azerbaijan. Quite the name he has there. And he has the white pieces, so he starts the game off with e4. And as you guys may or may not know, I brought it up before, I've been practicing my knight or Sicilian, so we go to c5. And now f4, so this is considered the McDonald attack. However, in this position, I really was thinking that my opponent was looking to transfer into a Grand Prix. That is a lot more common, especially around my level. The Grand Prix attack, you see it everywhere, especially because Gotham Chess made a YouTube video on it, so it is quite the common attack. So I just respond with d6, not wanting to commit my knight to c6, because then I'll get the pin, and then he gets right into the Grand Prix. So my opponent does not go for that, however. I was a little shocked. He goes knight f3, so I respond with the principal move, knight f6. Now the most common move here is knight c6, as you see the computer's recommended it. However, knight f6 is fine. It's been played hundreds of times at the Masters level against the McDonald attack, and of course I knew that going into this. So my opponent responds with d3, protecting the pawn on e4. We now have b6. And now the reason I play b6, it's not the most accurate move, right? But I have to figure out where I'm going to put this light squared bishop. Now I could put it on g4, however, it's going to get attacked, and then I have to decide if I want to trade or not. And if I choose not to, I bring it back, and now he has this huge pawn storm already rolling at me, and I have no ability to castle queenside, because it's a Sicilian defense. You hardly ever castle queenside. So that is the reason for b6. I'm planning to play bishop b7, knight c3, and now bishop b7. My plan is coming into fruition here. So bishop b3, a fine move. Computer wants him to be a little more aggressive, but completely fine. e6 now, preparing to develop my dark squared bishop and castle. Queen d2. Now this move, when you're playing chess, you really want to consider what your opponent's trying to do. Now, because he says him playing queen d2, if I had a bishop on g7, I'd say, okay, he's trying to trade, but I don't. So this move kind of indicates that he wants to castle queenside. So I'm going to go ahead and play for that. I'm going to play bishop e7 and prepare to castle kingside. And now bishop b2, so now the plans change, right? I thought he was going to castle queenside. Now he has options. Whatever. I play castles. And now h3. H3 is considered an accuracy, Bill, because it kind of didn't make sense, right? He moved that bishop to this square, a bit of an awkward square to castle kingside, but now he's not going to castle kingside. He's planning to castle queenside. Really, he just needs to get his king out of the center. Because he did not, I'm going to play the principal move, which is d5. When your opponent has a king in the center, you have a king castled, open up the center, man. Crack that case open, you might get a strong attack going. So my opponent decides to trade on d5. I recapture with the knight. Knight captures, and now bishop captures, and now c4. Once again, this is not a great move. The reason it's not is because you've already weakened your king side. Now you're weakening your queen side. And it's going to be hard for you to castle. Once again, the computer, you can sit here and say, oh, you're a 1700, you don't know anything the computer does. Obviously, I don't. But I can just tell you, if you're not going to play with computer accuracy, you need to follow human principles.
Knowledge.
So, I just simply bring my bishop right back. I was considering bishop c6, but, that's kind of where I want my knight to go in the future. So, I leave that square open. And now you see the issue, king f2. My opponent's kind of forced to play this position. Now, the computer says queen castle is fine, but no human I know is going to castle when they have their c-pawn pushed to c4. It would take a simple pawn break and then a rook here, and you're already under attack, 2 moves after castling. So king f2, not the craziest idea ever, but I decided to try and take advantage of that immediately. We have bishop h4. Now the best thing for him to do here is captures, where we capture my queen. But my opponent decides to shy away from that, g3. And now I just slide the bishop back to f6 here. Keeping control, just eyeing down this rook, making sure this b-pawn's never getting moved. But now my opponent does have some sort of initiative. Now he's pushing h4. Now you can see, okay, the pawns are starting to roll. I still have to defend myself here. Also, I have this bishop pinning the knight, so it is quite the nice position. Knight d7, I decided to bring my knight into the game. Obviously, I was talking about bringing him to c6, but once again, I didn't want to allow him to move this knight. I like the pin that I had, so that's why I play knight d7. Rook h2, so he's stepping out of the way of the pin here. E5, once again, my opponent's king's in the center. I would love if he traded right here and opened up this F file for me. I would love that, but obviously my opponent is not going to play into that. He decides to play knight g5, which is a fine move, nothing wrong with it. However, it does allow it to get kicked out of the way, so it's kind of a awkward square for the knight, but certainly playable. I decided to go ahead and trade. Once again, I'm trying to open the F file, and now after this trade's completed, my opponent has no attack. You're not going to sit here and push disconnected pawns into a fortress. Like I have all my pieces defending. Like I'm comfortably fine here. Now the one thing it did do is open up the G file, so he can bring his rook over and start attack, but he's not going to be able to pawn storm me. So that's one good thing about this position. Queen c7 now, putting pressure on this pawn. Once again, pinning the pawn. He cannot move because his rook is undefended. Bishop f3, h6. So they call it a mistake. It's a normal move. I wanted to kick the knight out the way. The reason it's a mistake is because they consider the trade of light square bishops to be beneficial for my opponent. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess probably because most of my pawns are in dark squares, but it's whatever. My opponent decides not to trade anyway, so we have knight e4, and now bishop d4. So this is pinning the bishop to the king, so that's going to become very important in one moment. We have rook g1, and now the dynamite move that turned out to be a blunder is queen takes f4. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this, you can see the eval drops a little bit. It is only due to perfect play. If you find the best move for white here, it is going to be crushing. It is going to be a game-winning move. So, I'll give you guys a second here. Pause the video if you'd like, and try and find that game-winning move. All right, if you guys, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and show it off. Now, this is a brilliant move. I didn't even see this until after I went into the game review after the game. Rook takes g7. Now, if you found this, you're quite the chess player, man. This is a hard move to find. The idea of rook h7. If I decide to attack my bishop, this is very obvious. I can recapture, and I lose my queen because it's no longer pinned. So that's not an option. And if king takes, this is also not an option because of a similar idea. Recapture with the bishop, and now sure I can take the bishop back, but once again my queen is now undefended and I lose the queen. So the only move to defend this successfully is king h8. However, that allows for a trade of a couple pieces here. Queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes. He takes my bishop. I take the rook. Rook takes, and now we're left with this position on the board where my opponent's up a pawn, and sure I'll have a passed f pawn, but this d pawn is very weak. It'll probably fall soon, and then my opponent will have a 4-on-2 advantage on the queen side, and this is a winning endgame for white. So yeah, that would have been a brilliant move if you found it. That is with perfect defense. I can get into a losing endgame, but luckily my opponent did not see the move, and in this position instead, once again, we'll see why this is such a double-edged position, is because if you play any other move, you also have to look out queen takes. If queen takes rook, you get checked. Let's see, where is he at? You have to find a way to defend this rook, right? So my opponent decides to defend it with rook g to g2, and now this is, as you see, the eval bar is completely switched into black's favor. Now right away, first I'm going to take the knight away, as that is the defender of the queen. So we go, and then we have d takes e4. Obviously the bishop cannot take as it is pinned. Knight e5, putting pressure on this bishop, threatening to capture it. Basically the only move for him, rook h3, which defends it. And now we have rook a to d8. This is a move setting up a nice idea that I had. However, the computer says it's somewhat of a mistake, but I'm still winning this position. It doesn't really matter. So we'll go ahead and show off the next move. Rook a to h to g3. So now he's starting to capture this pawn, but I can just ignore it because I have this beautiful sequence that it starts off with bishop takes e3, queen takes, and now the dynamite move. This is another move you can pause and see if you can find it. But rook d2 check, and now what do you do if you're black? Or what if you do if you're white? If you move the king, the queen is lost. So the only move is to capture the queen. Now you sacrifice your queen. I'm now up a rook. So I'm up a queen for a rook. So quite the exchange. And now this is just going to be the cleanup effort. Rook d4, king f1, g6 now defending from the attack of the g pawn. H5, I'm not bothered. King h7, just simply sliding out of the pen. We have pawn takes, pawn takes. That comes with check as well because the rook was sitting on the f file. King slides over. I gobble up another pawn because I have the time to. And this is just a desperation move. Rook takes g6. I can capture this in a million ways. Captures, captures, captures. And in this position, on move 34, my opponent decided to resign. And we'll go ahead and look at this position one more time, man. If you found, let's see, the move my opponent didn't play. If you found that move, you would have lost the game. But if you found rook g7, man, that is a beautiful move. You know, it is brilliant. There's nothing else to say about it. You know, just sacrificing a full rook, but it's uncapturable. So, without further ado, man, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, check out some other videos, man. I got a lot of great content, a lot of more great content coming soon. So, stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.